You need a full-time job for health insurance is actually a myth. As a travel nurse in New York, I used to get so stressed out about health insurance in between contracts until I found out about New York State of Health. They make it easier, more affordable, and are a trusted resource to accessing and managing your health insurance. And what's great is that there's a plan for everyone. And enrollment assisters and brokers are here to help online, by phone, or even help in person. So check out New York State of Health to learn more and stay up to date on your health insurance needs.
So it's no secret that New York City is the best place to be an entrepreneur, but when I had to figure out my own health insurance for the very first time, I was scared. I live with MS, which means taking care of my health is already something that I manage every single day, so navigating insurance on my own felt very overwhelming. What helped was learning about New York State of Health, which is the official health plan marketplace for New York State, where New Yorkers can shop for and enroll in health insurance, compare options, and get free help from real enrollment assisters or brokers online, by phone, or in person. If you're self-employed, starting out, or just figuring things out, there is a plan for all New Yorkers and support to help you through it.
Life changes and so can your health plan. New York State of Health is New York's official health plan marketplace and is where I go to check my coverage and make sure it still fits my family's needs. Plans, benefits, and eligibility can change, so it's important to stay up to date. Be sure to keep your contact information updated in your account so New York State of Health knows how to reach you. Visit newyorkstateofhealth.ny.gov to stay connected and stay covered.
Welcome to Wealth Wednesday. Coming to you from the Welcome to the Wealth Wednesday, where financial knowledge becomes empowerment and informed decisions create lasting impact. Today's conversation is not just about money. It's about legacy. It's about opportunity. It's about breaking cycles that have held families back and creating pathways that future generations can build upon. We are honored to welcome Mr. Christopher Watson, a well-known Nashville native. Christopher takes pride in serving his community through financial education, leadership, advocacy. He is passionate about helping individuals and families gain the knowledge they need to make confident financial decisions and create brighter futures. With more than 14 years of experience in banking, finance, and investments, Christopher has built a reputation as a trusted financial professional. Throughout his career, he has served as a personal banker, a branch manager, a financial educator, and investment professional, earning multiple distinctions, including Platinum Service Awards for his commitment to excellence. Christopher holds a Series 65 license, an insurance producer license, and a licensed insurance agent with Crump Life Insurance, helping clients protect what they build while preparing for the future. As a devoted husband and proud father, Christopher understands firsthand the importance of creating financial security that extends beyond one generation. Today, he joins us to discuss breaking generational curses with generational wealth. This is about changing financial habits. This is about creating ownership. This is about building a legacy that outlives us. Please join me and my co-host, Mrs. Rachel Kaylie, in welcoming Mr. Christopher Watson.
Thank y'all so much for having me. It's honestly an honor. I'm very passionate. I love, educating. I love talking about finance. I live and breathe it, right? But most importantly, I love helping others. That's my goal. That's my mission. I truly believe God gave me that gift. So I'm just pushing forward. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited.
Well, we're happy to have you. We're glad to have you.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, Christopher, your work centers around strengthening families and creating lasting legacies. Let's begin with a phrase that resonates deeply with many people today.
Mm-hmm.
What does the phrase breaking generational curses with generational wealth mean to you?
I would say for families, generational curses, they're not just like personal decisions, right? They're often the result of generations being denied access to opportunities, education, home ownership, wealth building tools, right? So
Mhm.
breaking those cycles mean changing the financial story, really, of our family tree. So generational wealth isn't just about money. A lot of people think, when you hear the term generational wealth, the first thing they see is dollar signs, right? But it's not really necessarily about money. It's more so about creating options, ownership, and opportunities, for our children, our grandchildren, that previous generations that they really just didn't have access to.
Mhm. Yes, and that's a powerful perspective. Okay, so to better understand why this conversation is so important,
Hmm.
let's look at some of the challenges families face. So, in your
Absolutely.
experience, what are some of the most common financial patterns that keep families trapped in the cycles of financial struggle?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say one of the biggest challenges is, families were never taught how money works, right? Because previous
Hmm.
generations, they really focused on like survival, not wealth building, right? So we often see now like high
Right.
debt, lack of savings, no estate planning, little exposure to investing. Another challenge would be believing wealth is only for people that have money, right? But wealth actually starts when we move from consuming to owning. That would,
Okay.
I would say, that would be the biggest struggle, right? And the reason why people are trapped in that.
Very well said. So, when we talk about changing those patterns,
Hmm.
education often becomes a key part of the solution. So, how important is financial education in changing the trajectory of a family's future?
Financial education is definitely a game changer, right? We teach our children how to read. We teach them math. We teach them science, even history, right? But how often do we teach them about budgeting, investing,
Hmm.
credit, taxes, right? Or even ownership? When one person in the family learns how money works, they can
Hmm.
change the trajectory of, honestly, for multiple generations, right? Knowledge creates confidence, and confidence creates action. That's literally, you know, the answer to that.
And
Hmm.
I think you might have touched on a little bit of that for this next one. So, financial knowledge is essential, but many experts, and you are an expert in their field,
Hmm.
says success starts long before the numbers.
Hmm.
So, let's talk about the internal side of wealth building.
Okay.
What role does mindset play in building wealth and creating financial stability?
Okay. So mindset, that's actually where the wealth begins, right? Before you build a portfolio, you have to build belief. Many people inherit, limiting beliefs about money without realizing it. So I would say wealth building requires a shift, right? It's a shift in the mindset of
Mhm.
that, hey, shift from I can't afford it to how can I actually create it, right? A
Okay.
wealth mindset focuses on, ownership, long-term thinking, and I would say delayed gratification as well.
Okay.
Hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Miss Rachel, do you have some questions?
I do. So the next question we have, and this is, I think, a very important one.
Hmm.
What are some of the practical first steps that families can take to begin building the general generational wealth today?
Absolutely. Um, you definitely want to create a budget. I I would use the word spending plan, right? Versus budget. But of course, we all know that term, creating a budget. So actually knowing exactly where your money is going. But I would also add in there as well, knowing exactly what your excess income is. Not just the income that you're making, but what is your income after expenses, right? Because that's what you can actually work with. Building an emergency fund, that's a huge one. Usually what happens is we get in the habit, we start the budgeting process, and then guess what? Boom, bam, something happens, right? And we
Mhm.
didn't put that money to the side. So definitely you want to have an emergency fund. And then I would say start investing, right? Even if it's like a small amount. As long as you can get consistent with it, the goal isn't about like perfection. The goal is progress, right? So small, consistent actions create major results over time.
I want to add to that since you touched on it, and I think it's so extraordinarily important. When I work with my bankruptcy clients
Hmm.
and I have to go through their expenses, virtually none of them know what they spend on food, on streaming devices,
Right.
on electric, on their phone bills, things like that. They pay them each month blindly
Hmm.
and don't really think about what they actually spend.
Right.
So do you have any suggestions about how to make people face what they actually spend and not what they think they spend?
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways, right? I would say the first step would be to actually face it. Right. That's the I feel
Which
like
nobody likes to do.
that's the hardest part, right? But there's a lot of there's
Mhm.
technology is something else. There are so many apps that you can actually use, tools that'll tell you exactly what you're doing. One of my favorites is Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a really good one. It's very affordable as well. And not necessarily, I wouldn't say it's the perfect budgeting tool, but it is the perfect tool to know exactly what you have coming out of your account, right? Those subscriptions and all of that, like it tracks everything. And that's really the first step. So figuring out which tool works for you. There's different budgeting tools. Me myself, I use Dollar Bird, right? I know that name sounds kind of weird, but it's a great tool. I like cash flow, right? I like knowing exactly what my cash flow is. I can handle everything else. So Dollar Bird is more so like a calendar app, right? And it just you put all your transactions in there and it tells you how much money you're gonna have on the 19th of the month or the 24th of the month, right? So
Mhm.
that those kind of things, learning how to use those tools, and of course too, get with an advisor. Someone like myself, I'm gonna go through that plan with you, right? I'm gonna show you exactly what you have coming out, what you have coming in, and then we can build around that. But the most important part, I would say would be to face it. You have to face, what you have going on. And once you face it, you can overcome it.
When I look at clients' bank statements and I see Uber, 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 Starbucks,
Hmm.
Starbucks, Starbucks, Starbucks,
Don't
and
forget
I
DoorDash
cringe.
and
It just
Oh,
Amazon.
I'm guilty on that one.
it adds up a lot.
It
And,
does.
that's to me the first part of facing what you actually spend.
Right.
They think, oh, it's just $5, but $5 every day times 5 or 6 times a week, it
Absolutely.
really adds up.
Yeah.
And that's money that you could be putting away for your future.
Right. I mean, I've seen it where, people do DoorDash for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right?
Absolutely.
And you're not
Absolutely.
thinking about it because you might be working from home or whatever the case may. It could be weather related, right?
Right.
But that stuff does add up over time. And usually, food shopping is probably gonna be your biggest expenses, right? But we just have to figure out, okay, are you are you making the income to justify that, or are you just doing it, right?
Mhm.
So it's just a matter of figuring that side of it out. But definitely, like, that's one of the first things that I do with clients. We don't just open up an account, right? The main thing I want to do is do a plan with you, so I know exactly what you have going on. Because I can't help you if I don't know what's going on, or any
Mm-hmm.
advisor. They can't help you, right? That's like going to the doctor and saying, hey doc, I need that blue pill, right? But you didn't tell the doctor what's wrong, right? The doctor's
Right.
not just gonna give you the blue pill. So you definitely gotta, you know, we got to see everything. That's how we help. So being an advisor, it's more so peeling that curtain back, holding your hand, walking you through it, but figuring out that plan as well.
Well, how do you think parents can teach children healthy financial habits from an early age?
I'm gonna say the number one way, if we're talking teaching children, is actually applying it, right? Because children learn based on what they see, right?
Right.
And I would say that would be the number one step. So if you're applying action, your children are gonna follow suit. They also listen to what they hear, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they do actions on that. So let them see you save. Let them see you invest, right? Teach them that money is a tool. It's not a status symbol, right? Open that savings account for them. Teach them entrepreneurship. Show them how
Mm-hmm.
home ownership works, right?
Hmm.
We should normalize those kind of conversations in the household. And I think that will effectively help, our children, and children's children as well, right? It's just a matter of having those conversations, just changing it up a little bit. Talk a little bit about credit, right? If you learn something, pass it down, right? You can't really go outside of that. If you're learning something, you definitely want to pass it down within your household for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Reaching out to the masses, we can do that, we can attempt that, but right there in your house, they're looking at everything that you're doing. So if you're taking the time out, and kids, they realize it. They see things like, my kids, they say, Daddy, what I got in my account? And I always say, don't worry about what you got in your account. But they know they got one, right? They want to
Uh-huh.
learn about it. My daughter, she's 14. She literally just asked me the other day, what is a stock? Right. So,
Mm.
and that's from her hearing me have conversations. So it's
That's
just a
great.
matter of
Yeah.
having those conversations with our children. I think that's the most effective way to help out.
I would also add that they also see what you don't do. So if you're
Absolutely.
not constantly buying Starbucks or taking Uber Eats or DoorDash,
Hmm.
and they see their friends' parents doing that, they will
Right.
notice that too.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And you can
Absolutely.
explain to them, well, we don't do that because, kids are remarkable sponges. They pick
They
up
are they
everything.
are sponges. They are sponges. And it's our job to, instill what we're doing, and just pass it on, right? So it's just a matter of us having the right mindset, and then they just pick it up and build from there.
So, what role do banking, investing, and insurance play in creating a comprehensive wealth building strategy?
Oh, that's a good question. Uh, okay. I would say think of it like building a house, right? I would say banking is more so your foundation. Investments, of course, when we see investments, what do we think? We think growth, right? So
Mhm.
that's the investment arm would actually be like growing the house. And then your insurance is what protects the house, right?
Mm.
So all three are necessary. Many people focus like on earning money, but never learn how to protect and grow it. I feel like that's the key, right? So when we're talking about wealth accumulation, it's gonna definitely require all three. So banking is gonna give you those fundamentals. Investments is gonna give you that growth, that long term, help. And then your insurance is literally gonna protect all of that, what you have going on. That way you can just pass it on down.
Very interesting.
It's a
And
good
then,
question.
yeah, many people feel they don't earn enough to invest. I'm sometimes guilty of that myself.
Hmm.
What would you say to someone who believes wealth building is out of reach? If
Okay.
someone comes to you and say wealth building for me is just I can't do it, it's out of reach for me.
Okay. I would say that for starters, wealth building is really built through habits, right? It's not income alone. There's people make 6 figures, 7 figures, right? That they live in paycheck to paycheck. So it's
That's
really
true.
it's really the mindset of it. You got people that
Mm-hmm.
make far less money, but they're building wealth because they invest consistently. And you know the thing is with investing, it compounds over time. So as long as you keep adding to it, that snowball is gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Versus the person that's making all this money, but they're spending it all as well. It's really not a dollar situation. It's more of a mindset situation. So I would say don't focus on how much money you can invest. Just focus on getting started. That would be my main catchphrase for that.
I like that. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Let me
Gennelle?
piggyback. Yeah, let me piggyback off of that one because I've got a question for you.
Hmm.
Okay, so for people that feel that they don't have or earn enough to invest, is there anything like, say, you want to buy a share in
Hmm.
Apple,
Hmm.
and I'm just throwing numbers because I don't know. Say
Hmm.
it's $450.
Hmm.
If you can't afford that one share,
Hmm.
is there some way or something that you can buy like a portion of that share to get
Abs-
started and
Absolutely.
build on that?
Absolutely. Another way you can actually do the same thing is ETF investing, right? So you have what's called ETFs, which are exchange traded funds, similar to a mutual fund, where it's a pooled investment with multiple different companies, right? So that's another way you can actually still be involved. So it's not really necessarily about, now. Don't get me wrong. Like individual stocks, of course, they are what they are, right? They're ownership of
Right.
that company, right? But there's other ways to still build your portfolio without having those lump sums of money. One thing that's real cool that really stuck out with me, and I explain it to clients a lot, is dollar cost averaging, right? Dollar cost averaging is one of those things where if you're investing the same amount, let's say you're doing it every single month or every 2 weeks or whatever the case is, right? How your paycheck comes in, dollar cost averaging, what ends up happening is you're actually going to get your stocks cheaper because it's stretched out over time. So if you're doing $100 a month, but you're doing it consistently, right? You're actually getting stocks at a cheaper price. So it's really about the consistency of it. And that's really what I'm teaching clients. It's not about you having this lump sum of money. It's about, can you contribute to this each and every single time to keep it going, right? Because what tends to happen is over time, what do? We end up making more money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually when you're working that job to make more money. So as you make more money, then we can start adding more, right? But we can't control the consistency. That's the mindset. So
Okay.
the first step would be, hey, this is what we have as far as excess. We have, I'm just giving an example, we're throwing numbers out. You got $500 in excess cash, right? This is after your expenses. This is after how you're living as well. Cause living is a part of it. I never tell somebody to change your lifestyle, right? To fund something, right? You don't have to change your lifestyle. You might have to make some alterations, right? But you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to fully change your lifestyle. So the main thing is figuring out what we got excess, and then we take those funds and then we start applying it to where they need to go. And that's going to be different buckets, different investment vehicles, and all of that. But the most important thing is knowing exactly what your excess cash is and actually starting.
I just want to
Okay.
comment on what you just said. It made me smile because when you were saying I would never ask someone to change their lifestyle,
Hmm.
I tell people, when they're looking for ways to cut their expenses so that they can, save. And I'd say, listen, I'll never tell a smoker to quit smoking because they're not going to quit until they're ready to quit.
Right.
But I will point out, you might be smoking a cigarette, you put it down, half of it burns, then you pick it up. I always try to tell them, I use it as an example, be mindful of what you're doing.
Right.
So I'm not going to tell you to quit smoking, although you should quit smoking.
Right.
But if you're smoking cigarettes and you're only smoking half of them, and cigarettes in New York are about $18 a pack,
Mm,
you're literally smoking $9 and the other half is just burning.
right.
So,
Right.
I mean, you can save a lot of money by not smoking at all, but being mindful of what your expenses are.
Mm-hmm.
Be mindful of how many times a week you get Starbucks. Be
Absolutely.
mindful of how many times a week you do such and such.
Right.
So you're not changing your lifestyle. I'm not saying don't buy Starbucks, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't need it 5 days a week.
Right. And usually when we do, especially when I do the plan, and because I'm gonna show them, right?
Oh yeah.
You're gonna see where your money went, right? And usually when I show a client, hey, you got X amount of dollars going here, right? The first thing they always say is, "Oh wow, I didn't realize I was spending that much over there. I can
Hmm.
cut back such and such," right? You're not changing your lifestyle. You're just saying, "Whoa, I didn't realize I was spending that much.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull $200 or $300 from that, and then let me apply it over here," right? So it's a matter of just confronting it. What we said in the beginning, like you have to confront it. A lot of people just kind of live day to day without no confrontation of their own personal finances. We have to confront it in order to get to where we're trying to get.
At every income level.
Every
Mm-hmm.
every income level, because at the end of the day, it does not matter about income. It really doesn't. It matters about mindset. It's all
Mindset.
mindset. It's all mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me
So,
ask you. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Janelle.
so one financial tool, since we were talking about this,
Mm-hmm.
that is often misunderstood is life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been trying to understand the way we was taught and the way we should be taught
Right.
is a big gap. So
Absolutely.
it can play a significant role in long-term family planning. I've got a twofold question here.
Okay.
So, how can life insurance become a tool for wealth preservation and legacy planning? But
Mm-hmm.
also, what is that? Um, I can't think of the actual term, but it's a life insurance policy that you can use as a vehicle of building your own bank. IUL, maybe. I'm trying to think.
Yeah. So that's a
Okay,
that's a popular one. I'm definitely gonna hit on it.
okay,
And I'm gonna lean out and say this as well. So I'm gonna start off with the question first, and then we'll
okay.
get into the IUL. So life insurance, it's a for one, it's a tax-free vehicle, right? So you get life insurance, something happens, you pass that money to a family member, they actually receive it tax-free. That's that's
Hmm.
that's the first thing, right? It also creates a way for the family not having to start over. So life insurance should replace that person if they pass away, right? It
Right,
should supplement that. Um, Another thing is too, it can help provide stability. It preserves assets and it creates opportunities for the next generation. Historically, many families lose wealth during transitions because there's no plan in place,
hmm,
right? Life insurance can help protect the legacy you worked for and that you built. So life insurance is one of those things where it's literally it's that replacement. Like if something happens to me, I don't want my wife to feel like I'm gone
hmm.
financially, right? So that's really what the life insurance is for. Now, as far as the IUL is an index universal life policy. Got different names. Be your own bank. Infinity
Hmm.
banking. Now the thing is with the IUL, it's being sold in the community the wrong way. Okay.
Okay.
It's one of those topics. I can't go too deep into it. But the way it's actually supposed to work, it's a two-pronged system. Okay. You have whole life insurance, you have that whole life coverage, but then
Hmm.
you also have the investment arm, right? All
Okay.
you're doing with an IUL is overfunding the policy. Okay. So the amount that you overfund is actually being going into an investment vehicle. That's tracking the market. It's not in the market. It's just tracking what the market is doing, right?
Okay.
Um, Now the problem that I see with the IULs is a lot of insurance producers are raising the death benefit really high,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to think. So you got this product where you have insurance. Let's say, and I'm just gonna give an example. Let's say we did IUL. The insurance amount was $100,000, and we're paying $150 a month for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's say the insurance cost is $78, and the rest of the money is actually going to the side for the investment vehicle. Okay,
Okay.
what tends to happen is the death benefit gets raised up to 300,000, 400,000, and now your 150 is being ate up by the insurance part,
Mm.
and the money's not flowing over to the investment arm. That's how a lot of them are being sold, which is not the right way, of course, right? So you definitely, you definitely. I'm not gonna say watch it. It's a great product. I have an IUL, right? Um, but it has to be set up the right way. It's a
Mm-hmm.
great tool though. To me, it's kind of like having a Roth IRA on steroids, right?
Okay.
I call it a super Roth, because
Okay.
that money still is growing tax free, right? It's a tax free investment. So it's a great product. It just has to be set up the correct way.
Okay. Thank you so much for explaining that because
Absolutely.
there are different, like you said, if it's not
Mhm.
set up the right way, it's
Right.
interpreted the wrong
Right.
way. So thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Rachel. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to ask you, so what financial mistakes should families avoid if they want to create long-term financial success?
I would say avoid trying to look wealthy instead of becoming wealthy, right? Um
That's
a lot of
interesting.
times we get caught up in the look,
There you go.
what looks good, right? Too often we
Mhm.
spend money on things that depreciate, while neglecting investments that actually appreciate.
Something like a
Avoid
fancy car.
of avoiding unnecessary debt, failing to plan, waiting too long to start. Time is one of the greatest wealth building tools that we have. So you definitely want to, like I said earlier, get started, right? No matter where you are, just get started, and then we'll build from there. It's a great question though.
How can individuals balance enjoying life today? This is kind of what we talked about before, while still preparing for future generations. It's kind of that balancing act that's always so tricky.
I would say the goal isn't wouldn't be to sacrifice everything today, but it would be more so like what you just said, to create balance, right? Enjoy your life, celebrate your successes, create memories, right? But also invest in your future. So every dollar should have an assignment, right? Every dollar should be going somewhere, whether it's going towards, the bills, or it's going in the investment account. If it's going in the kids savings account, you want to be able to assign every dollar that you bring in. That's the most important thing. Some, you want to do that, some for the day, some for tomorrow, and then of course some for generations that you may never meet, right?
Mhm.
That's the generational wealth cycle. Is doing this, being that game changer for, you know, the generations to come. So just the mindset of it. Great question, though.
Now you want to.
So let me ask you a question
Hmm.
for the audience, and I didn't know until I looked it up, so that's why I want to ask.
Hmm.
Um, could you explain to us the details of holding a Series 65 license?
Yeah. So 65 license is just a hybrid. It's a cross between license. It's a newer license that they came out with. So instead of having to take two exams, they just kind of piled it all in one.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's literally what it is. The term for it. So I'm considered of course, traditional financial advisor. But the correct term is investment advisor representative. Is the term that I actually am. So the 65 is literally just the license portion, right?
Okay.
But the investment advisor representative, that's what I am.
Okay.
It's a great
So that
question.
means like the caliber of, the stocks and
Hmm.
all that good stuff.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Portfolio management. It's a it's a it's a it's a wealth of knowledge that I've been able to accumulate. A lot of it just wasn't from studying for the test, passing the test. I would say just starting my financial career. Like I started in banking. I can say banking gave me like the foundation and the principles to understand finances. And then the investment side just kind of catapulted it, right?
Okay.
But yeah, yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. Definitely a lot.
I
It's
have a
definitely
question.
well worth, reaching out to you to find out
Absolutely.
these information. And I've got one little bitty other question. And Rachel, I
Uh-huh.
promise I will let you speak.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know
Uh-huh.
Chris doesn't talk about this much, but while I was vetting Chris for my own personal reasons, I
Hmm.
came across an article that
Okay.
that he was writing with credit bros.
Hmm.
So would you talk about that a little bit? The article was out of Black Enterprise
Uh-huh.
magazine.
So we were in the Black Enterprise. So I'm an independent financial advisor for a firm called Wilson Wealth Management Group. However, I do co-own a credit repair company. Me and my business partner, Aaron Steed. He's out of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm Nashville, Tennessee. And the way it started was kind of weird. Like we ran the business one year without even meeting each other face to face. It's the weirdest story ever, right? um, but it started with us just wanting to help people with their credit. We seen that credit was a huge need. We both were kind of doing it, individually. And then we just came together, brainstormed, gave our ideas, and then we started helping people. At this point now, I think tracking wise, we've helped over about 750 people get in
Mm,
homes. Um, I can't even count how many clients we've just helped with their credit. I know homeowners, we track that up real heavy. That's our like huge success point, right? But I mean, we've helped people get vehicles. I mean, start businesses, just all around. And we're still doing it to this day. We still run the company. I'm not as involved as I was because I've leaned over more into the financial space. However, still own the company. I still look at credit profiles every now and then if I got to, right? Because the thing is with credit, and I actually that's really why I love what I do. Credit and finances run hand in hand. Like you can't do one without the other, right? If you try to, you're gonna end up bouncing back and forth like a ping pong ball. So if you try to
mhm.
work on your finances, but you're not working on your credit, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna mess your finances up, and then you back over here on the credit side. If you don't work on your finances and you just using credit, now you messed up over here. Now you got to get your finances back together, right?
Right.
So it works really good together. At first, I didn't think it would, but it's really coming hand in hand. So now I call it the circle of wealth, where we're helping with your credit. I'm helping you with your finances, and then I'm actually helping you with the investment side as well. And you need all three to actually build wealth. What we're talking about. You got to have all three working for you. Great question.
Thank you. Thank
Hmm.
you. Okay, go ahead, Miss Rachel.
So, what advice would you give to people who say, I don't even know where to begin to look because there's so much information on the internet, and so much of it is either false,
Hmm.
just completely
Hmm.
wrong,
Hmm.
misleading, doesn't apply to that person, but you don't know, or just so broad and so general that it doesn't really answer their questions. So what advice would you give to people to begin to learn how to manage credit, how to manage their money, how to invest? Because again, there's just so much information out there, and it's hard to know what to believe and what not to believe.
That's a great question, especially with social media. I can say this.
Absolutely.
You know, a true expert. There's a so let's put it like this. Where I'm at now, in my career, it's a lot of stuff that I can't even talk about, right?
Mhm.
So the best advice I can give, how can I put this? The best advice I can give is someone that's loud, someone that you can you can vet. You definitely can vet. You have to really just pay attention to how people are presenting themselves. Let's put it like that.
Mhm.
And pay attention to what they're doing. It's like if this person was a chef, 3 months ago, and now this person's talking about life insurance, and then 3 months from now they're talking about something else, like, you probably want to kind of stay away from that person, right?
They're not
So it's
credible.
more so vetting. I can tell you, and I will share it with you guys. I'll put it in the comments after we get off the stream. There is a way to actually vet financial advisors. There is a website you can go to, and you can actually check, and vet true financial advisors. So that's one way to do it.
Mhm.
But I would say, it also go with your gut too. I feel like that gut is something deeper than what we think it is, right? If it don't feel right, it's probably not right. So
Yeah.
I would say that as well. But that's a great question. I can't go too deep. I want to, but I can't.
No, I
uh,
understand.
but I
I've actually
will.
had
I will.
clients.
I will
Go ahead.
definitely share the link, because I mean, it tracks everything. Like, everything that I do is tracked, right? So
Uh-huh.
I'll definitely share that link with you,
That would
Is
be
that
with
for
our
great.
with our
FINRA?
audience, with our audience.
That
Is
would be
that the
great.
FINRA?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It
Okay.
is. Yep.
Yeah. No,
Yep. I'll
that would be very
make sure the
helpful.
audience have it.
Yeah. I've
Absolutely.
actually had clients come to me and say, they thought that if they closed their credit cards, they wouldn't have to pay the balance. Well, the
Mm-hmm.
card's closed. I was
Right.
like, well, who would tell you that? They're like, oh, I saw it on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now with AI, becoming so prevalent and
Mm-hmm.
people asking questions, but the answers aren't necessarily accurate.
Right.
A big AI is a wonderful tool, but it's only one tool,
And
and
it's
it
a
makes things up.
Right. It's a tool, but it shouldn't be your mindset. Right.
No.
Right.
And I think that's where we gotta kind of separate that. I think a lot of people are using it as if it was them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta understand it's a tool like any other tool. Your phone is a tool, right? Pen and paper is a tool. Calculator is a tool. Like,
That's
we
right.
still gotta understand that, hey, yeah, we have these tools, but these tools are not who we are, right? You still
Mm-hmm.
have your mindset. You still want to get sharp, read books, all of that good stuff. Just take it, keep the old school in play, and just
Mm-hmm.
kind of use the new school to supplement, right? I still say, reading books is one of the most powerful things to help
Mm-hmm.
develop your mind.
I couldn't
um
agree more.
right. And the AI is cool. It is very helpful, very insightful. But you still got to do your own research.
But it's
Mm-hmm.
not always right.
Right. Still got to do
Sometimes it
your own
makes stuff
research.
up.
It does make errors.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
It's a
think
great question.
one of the problems for younger generations is, especially for money,
Hmm.
is that they don't actually see cash anymore. And this is something I talked about on one of our previous podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is, oh, my Apple Watch or my, my PayPal or my this or my that. And they
Mm-hmm.
don't actually see money.
Right.
People are like,
Right.
I don't care. Who carries cash anymore? It's like,
Right.
well, if you don't see your money, it's so unreal to them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of a dangerous thing. I love that you're saying, read books and know your bank accounts and
Mhm.
know
Absolutely.
what you're spending. Face yourself because
And we can even go check register, right?
Mhm.
That app that I said I use, Dollar Bird, that's all it is a check register. It's just a digital one. It's an app, right? Those things still work to this day. You
oh,
have to know
absolutely.
exactly what you have coming in, and you have to know what's coming out.
Mhm.
That's just the root of it. If you don't know, if you're just working, making money, and just spending, and the only thing you're keeping up with is rent, mortgage, light bill, just those main things, and not really worrying about, okay, well, how much did I spend on groceries, or how much did I spend on gas? Look at the gas prices, how gas is going now. Everybody's
Mhm.
spending more, right? If you're not
Mhm.
budgeting for that, you're gonna have issues. You're gonna be at the pump putting $5 or $6 in your car because you didn't properly plan for it. So, planning is a huge thing. Knowing what you have coming in, knowing what you have going out is even huger.
And I would just say too, check your pay stubs because I see, sometimes companies like this happened to somebody I know
Hmm.
where she worked in New Jersey but lived in New York, so her employer never took out New York City taxes.
Oh, wow.
And she just never looked at her pay stub
Wow.
and got slammed with taxes for New York
Wow.
City because she just didn't think about it. And
I'm
there's
gonna
a
tell you.
lot of people who live in this tri-state area. I mean, I don't
Hmm.
know how big an issue it is in Tennessee, but certainly in New York, a lot of people work in Connecticut, a lot of people work outside of New York City, or they'll
Hmm.
work in New Jersey. And if the proper taxes aren't being taken out, people don't budget for that either. I mean,
Right.
sometimes there are taxes that, real estate taxes, things like that, that they don't really budget for.
Hmm. Yeah. It's important. It's definitely important. Definitely important. And knowing exactly what you have like going on, even outside of the budget side. Like, I'm gonna tell you something else that I'm seeing a lot of it. Um Clients 401ks, they're either invested just in a target date fund, right? I've even seen them where the money's just in a money market fund where it
Mm.
hasn't even been invested,
Mm.
right? For 30 years.
Wow.
Somebody
Oh,
that's been with a company for 30 years,
that's painful.
and they think they know, well, I'm not gonna say they think, they know, okay, I got money coming out of my check, it's going in my 401k, but they never logged in to look at their 401k, right? It's so many different things. So, definitely I stress everyone. I feel like everyone should have an advisor. I think a lot of people get, conscrewed on what that entails of. They think money automatically, right?
Mhm.
But in
Mhm.
order for you to get where you need to be, you have to have a plan, and you have to have someone that can actually help you execute that plan, right? You're not gonna get to the wealth if we can't tackle the right now, right? So, if you have an income, you need an advisor. If we're talking wealth, building wealth, if you have an income, you need an advisor. And
Absolutely.
that's just the truth. Just like we all need a doctor, you need an advisor if you have income. Now, if you don't have income, I tell everybody the only thing I can't do is multiply zeros. Can't do it, right? But if you got an income, I can help you. Or any other advisor can help you as well.
Well, that's really good advice.
Hmm.
I hear all the time people are like, "Oh, I can do this myself."
Hmm.
It's like, well, you can, but you shouldn't.
And it's definitely not a do-it-yourself project.
No, and it's
It's
always
not.
good to have neutral eyes looking at it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think that's really good advice.
Well, Miss Rachel, do you have anything else you would like to ask?
We could do this for 10 hours, but I think we got to let Chris have a little bit of a break. But
You're right.
yeah.
Right. Well, as we're getting ready to close, Chris, you have shared some invaluable wisdom and on breaking cycles, building wealth, and creating a lasting legacy. As we conclude, I like to leave our audience with one final thought. If there was one principle you hope every family adopts to create a stronger financial future, what would it be?
One principle to create a stronger financial future. Ask for help.
There you go.
Yeah, ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
That sums it up. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. And no matter what your situation may be,
Correct.
ask for help.
Ask for help.
Yes. Because some people think, well, I don't have it. So
Right.
how can I ask for it?
Right.
Like you talked about earlier, you need to start somewhere.
That's right.
So yes, thank you. Ask for help.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and for your commitment to helping families build stronger foundations, create wealth, and leaving a legacy that lasts for generations. I am more than happy to have you back again. And I know we will be talking more after this
Absolutely.
chat. And
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure that Miss Rachel would love to meet you when you're in the area.
Absolutely.
When you're in New
Absolutely.
York, please let me know.
Absolutely. Will do.
We could talk for hours.
That's
So-
fine with me.
I loved your advice, and I really very much appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, yes. And don't
I
forget to
enjoy
put
being
that
here.
yes. Put that information in there about I don't know the exact name of it, but I know it's FINRA, and
It's
that's how
broke.
people can really
It is broker check is what it is, and I'll definitely put that link in the comments.
okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes, because that's the way you can tell if they are who they say they are. And
That's
I
correct.
can say Mr. Christopher Watson is who he says he is.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
He
ma'am.
has the credentials.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, as we close out, I know production probably is giving me the cue, but I would like to first thank our production team and their lead in letting us on this platform. I would like to thank Juneteenth NYC for allowing us to come on this platform and to just spread the wealth and wisdom to other people, other audience, just giving us the time. I also want to say this is the countdown. We are 9 days away from the actual Juneteenth federal holiday. And with that being said, Juneteenth NYC 2026, if you could go and visit their website, it is juneteenthny.com. They are rooted in strength, and they've got a series of activities that will start. One will be the Black Kings Gala, that's June 18th. The next
And I'll
one will
be
be
there.
the virtual summit. Rachel said she would be there at the Black Kings Gala. The next one is the virtual summit. That's June 19th. Then they will celebrate with a parade, fashion show, and festival June the 20th. And everything is listed on their website. The festival will be at 871 Vermont Street, Brooklyn, New York. And the GP address is Linden Park, Gershwin Park. So if you can go and visit their website, as it is on the screen, juneteenthny.com, we will look forward to having you all celebrate Juneteenth 2026 with us, where we're rooted in strength.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having me.
You need a full-time job for health insurance is